As Mercury transits its own sign of Gemini from June 6 to June 22, 2025, it opens up a fascinating energetic window that emphasizes communication, information exchange, intellectual engagement, and networking. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. This transit holds amplified significance because Mercury is not only in its own airy, mutable domain of Gemini, but also conjuncts Jupiter, the planet of wisdom and expansion, during this time. Such a combination makes this period particularly dynamic for mental stimulation, learning, teaching, and strategic communication on both personal and collective levels. Mercury, by nature, is a planet of intellect, logic, quick wit, and adaptability. It governs communication, speech, writing, analytical skills, calculative abilities, youthfulness, and the nervous system. It also governs our curious nature, the urge to gather data, sort it mentally, and express it. When Mercury transits through Gemini, its own sign, all these characteristics are heightened. Gemini is an airy, dual sign ruled by Mercury itself. It is known for being sociable, inquisitive, fast-moving, and talkative. This makes the Mercury in Gemini transit a period of buzzing activity, quick decisions, sharp mental clarity, and an increased desire to connect and converse. Adding more depth to this transit is the planetary backdrop in June 2025. Venus is transiting fiery Aries, creating a flirtatious, energetic undercurrent in matters of love and desire. Saturn, the slow-moving disciplinarian, is placed in Pisces, bringing a subtle restraint and deep spiritual introspection that counterbalances Mercury's flighty tendencies. Mars enters Leo on June 7th, only a day after Mercury enters Gemini, igniting courage, performance, and assertiveness, qualities that can add passion to speech and boldness to decision-making. The Sun joins Mercury and Jupiter in Gemini on June 15th, creating a powerful stellium and significantly increasing the importance of this transit. With the Sun illuminating Mercury and Jupiter, this is a time where ideas can shine, voices can rise to prominence, and clarity can emerge after a long fog of confusion. Rahu in Aquarius casts its fifth aspect on Gemini during this period. Rahu, being a shadow planet, intensifies the desire for knowledge and innovative, even rebellious thinking. It pushes Mercury toward unconventional ideas, digital innovations, and tech-based communication. This can trigger a collective surge in AI-related developments, crypto markets, media shifts, and global conversations around futuristic themes. The combination of Mercury, Jupiter, and Sun under Rahu's influence can be mentally overwhelming for some but visionary for others. The key is to stay grounded, especially in communication, and avoid information overload or spreading misinformation. Mercury's conjunction with Jupiter is especially worth examining. Jupiter is a planet of higher learning, philosophy, expansion, and belief systems. When Mercury, representing logical, factual communication, combines with Jupiter, which governs abstract wisdom, the result is a harmonious synthesis of practical and philosophical thinking. This period is ideal for studying, publishing, teaching, learning a new language, or gaining clarity in legal, financial, and educational matters. You may find yourself drawn to inspirational speakers, spiritual teachers, or informative content that expands your mind. The mind wants to stretch itself during this time, and if you are in Mercury's Maha-Dasha or Antardasha, this transit can feel especially potent. It is essential to remember that Mercury is a neutral and highly adaptive planet. It takes on the nature of the planets it is conjunct with or those that aspect it. Alone, Mercury does not show a fixed tendency. If conjunct benefics like Jupiter, as in this case, Mercury tends to act benefic. But if aspect or conjunct malefics like Saturn or Ketu, its expression could become more restrictive or confused. In June 2025, since Mercury is conjunct Jupiter and eventually joined by the Sun, both powerful planets, and also influenced subtly by Rahu's trinal aspect, this creates a mixed but overall stimulating mental environment. People may be drawn to controversial discussions, political commentary, religious philosophies, and educational pursuits with renewed vigor. It's a time where minds open, but ego's Sun may also get involved in debates or arguments, Gemini being a dual sign. In personal life, this transit can trigger an urge to communicate more, be it through conversations, emails, writing, or public speaking. Curiosity levels are high, and the desire to share and receive information becomes more prominent. It's a good time for negotiations, interviews, exams, podcasts, and digital content creation. Due to the fast-paced nature of Gemini and Mercury's swift movement, it's important to double-check facts, slow down in decision-making, and remain mentally organized. This is especially true because the influence of Rahu can bring misinformation or overthinking, especially in the digital sphere. Lastly, since Mercury moves quickly, its direct impact is fleeting unless supported by dasha periods or retrograde motion. In this case, Mercury's transit is brief but powerful due to the Jupiter conjunction. You may notice sudden interest in reading, learning, or creating, and feel unusually expressive or restless. Those working in media, publishing, teaching, writing, and communications may find this a highly productive period. It's crucial to recognize Mercury symbolizes communication influenced by surroundings, mirroring how conversations reflect one's company. In essence, Mercury's transit triggers curiosity regarding matters related to the sign and house it traverses, prompting information gathering and sharing, aligning with Mercury's fundamental nature to communicate and exchange knowledge. To assess the impact of this transit, it's crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign provides insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you'll emotionally respond to these changes. Consider the position of your current Maha-Dasha lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current Dasha period. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Mercury's Ashtaka score in Gemini. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit will differ from person to person, contingent on Mercury's interaction with the planets in their individual birth charts, or its transit through the zodiac. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Mercury Dasha may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. It's important to remember that the effects of this transit will vary for each person. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, the Mercury transit in Gemini brings a powerful shift of energies, especially as Mercury will be transiting its own sign, forming a conjunction with Jupiter. For Aries individuals, Mercury rules two important houses: the third, communication, effort, courage, younger siblings, and the sixth, conflict, competition, disease, and daily routines. And during this period, it will be placed in the third house itself. This is a house that resonates deeply with Mercury's significations, making this transit both impactful and complex. This period is likely to awaken your curiosity and enhance your ability to learn, absorb, and communicate. With Mercury in its own sign Gemini, your communication becomes sharper, more intelligent, and highly expressive. When Mercury operates from the third house, your mind is constantly active, seeking information, exchanging ideas, and initiating dialogues. This is a phase where you may feel driven to express your views, and you could find yourself engaging in debates, writing, or public speaking. If you're in a profession related to media, marketing, sales, teaching, or counseling, this transit will amplify your performance and open doors for recognition and advancement. The conjunction with Jupiter, the planet of wisdom and higher learning, brings a beautiful synthesis of logic and philosophy. Mercury and Jupiter's union in your third house creates an auspicious yoga that can bless you with wise communication, brilliant ideas, and the capacity to inspire others through your words. Jupiter is the lord of your 9th and 12th houses, so this conjunction also brings an element of dharma, learning, and spiritual curiosity. It's a time when your efforts, especially intellectual or creative ones, are likely to bear fruit, provided you stay disciplined and grounded. You may feel drawn toward teaching, writing, mentoring, or learning a new skill that involves the use of your hands or intellect. Since the third house governs manual dexterity, pursuits like writing, painting, musical instruments, coding, or craftsmanship could gain momentum now. You might also become more active on social media, sharing your thoughts and insights. Due to the involvement of the 6th house through Mercury's rulership, there's a need for caution as this verbal sharpness could sometimes come across as argumentative or confrontational. There's a thin line between assertiveness and aggression. Be careful not to cross it, especially in professional settings or on public platforms, where your words might be picked apart or taken out of context. Relationships with younger siblings may also come under focus. While there is potential for bonding and deep conversations, old misunderstandings could resurface. The presence of Jupiter brings an element of healing and maturity to these exchanges if approached with empathy and wisdom. Since Mercury is also the 6th lord and this house signifies rivalry and conflict, some tensions may arise. To maintain peace, avoid bringing up controversial topics or displaying superiority in your knowledge. Keep your tone diplomatic, and you'll find opportunities to improve these relationships instead of damaging them. The 3rd house is also associated with short-distance travel, networking, and forming new social connections. This is a favorable time to go on road trips, attend workshops, or engage in local community events. Jupiter's aspect on the 9th house and Mercury's natural tendency to explore ideas suggests that even these short journeys may bring profound spiritual or philosophical insights. If you are in sales, writing, education, consultancy, or journalism, your ideas could attract attention and reward. New contacts and acquaintances made during this time may turn out to be influential in your future endeavors. But here too, caution is advised. Since Mercury is neutral and gets easily influenced by its company, your communication will reflect your surroundings. Jupiter's presence is a positive influence, but malefic planetary aspects, especially Rahu's fifth aspect on Gemini, can add unpredictability, distortion, or exaggeration to your thoughts and speech. Be mindful of misinformation and avoid making impulsive claims or promises. The sixth house element also indicates health and daily routines. With Mercury transiting the third house, it's advisable to be mindful of your shoulders, arms, hands, and neck. Overexertion, especially in workouts or lifting weights, can lead to strain or minor injuries. This is also a time when hidden or nagging health issues could flare up, so if something feels off, don't delay a medical checkup. Since the sixth house also rules over enemies and obstacles, you may experience some opposition, either through petty rivalry at work or even online. You may also find yourself having to defend your ideas or explain your words in ways you hadn't intended. Avoid gossip and steer clear of unnecessary arguments, especially with neighbors, siblings, or colleagues. Psychologically, this transit sharpens your mind, but it also adds a layer of nervous energy. Your mind may race with ideas, and if left unfocused, it can lead to overthinking or even anxiety. Journaling can be a potent remedy during this time. Writing your thoughts down will help you process them and reduce inner clutter. This act also channels Mercury's energy constructively, blending communication, Mercury, and wisdom, Jupiter. Spiritual growth is also a possibility during this period. The third house is the house of practice, and with Jupiter's influence, you may feel drawn towards spiritual routines like meditation or studying sacred texts. If you have been planning to begin a daily discipline, this is a favorable time to begin. Jupiter's aspect on the 9th and Mercury's transit in its own sign give you the structure and inspiration to maintain such routines. Overall, Mercury's transit in Gemini is a double-edged sword for Aries individuals. On one hand, it blesses you with sharper intellect, enhanced communication, and dynamic networking abilities. On the other, it can test your emotional intelligence as you navigate conflict-prone areas like siblings, colleagues, or verbal missteps. Balance is key. Channel your mental energies into constructive pursuits like writing, speaking, or teaching. Avoid gossip and inflammatory remarks. Use your voice to uplift, educate, and connect. With Jupiter by Mercury's side, this is a precious window where your thoughts can transform into wisdom and your efforts into success. Taurus individuals will experience a significant shift in focus toward wealth, communication, and familial interactions during the Mercury transit through Gemini. Mercury, being the lord of both the 2nd and 5th houses for Taurus individuals, governs matters related to personal finance, savings, speech, education, speculative gains, and creativity. With this transit occurring in Mercury's own sign and in the 2nd house of Taurus, the potential for enhanced communication skills, financial growth, and emotional bonding with family members is remarkably high. This planetary movement sets the stage for a period filled with mental agility, charm in speech, and opportunities to materialize wealth through intellect and personal talents. One of the most prominent effects of this transit is the sharp increase in your interest and ability in verbal expression. Your speech becomes more eloquent, poetic, and perhaps even flirtatious. People may find themselves naturally drawn to your voice, and you'll notice that conversations flow more effortlessly than usual. If your profession involves teaching, public speaking, counseling, or even singing, this is a highly favorable time to shine. You will also find yourself drawn to engaging in deeper and longer conversations, particularly with a romantic partner. For those in a relationship, this phase allows you to connect with your lover more meaningfully, and may even bring familial approval if you've been waiting for that. Emotional expressions will be charming, and your words may become your strongest assets. Mercury's dual rulership over the 2nd and 5th houses during this transit creates a powerful wealth yoga with Jupiter, which may also be present in the 2nd house. Jupiter being the lord of your 11th house of gains and income makes this combination all the more prosperous. Your creative talents can bring real financial rewards. If you are involved in speculative trades such as stock markets, investments, or cryptocurrency, this can be a highly productive time. A word of caution: while your instincts will be sharp, overconfidence or impulsiveness must be avoided. Financial decisions should be discussed within the family framework. Your ideas will be many, but choosing the right one requires clarity and grounding. This transit is excellent for improving financial literacy. You may be drawn toward learning about investments, wealth-building strategies, or even passive income avenues. Your ability to understand complex financial topics will be sharp, and it's a good time to make structured plans for savings, insurance, and even long-term family assets. If there were any pending issues related to ancestral property, family investments, or shared assets, chances are high that those matters will now find a resolution in your favor. Students and those pursuing higher education, especially in fields related to finance, economics, communication, or creative arts, will find this transit energizing and productive. In your domestic life, you will feel a stronger urge to spend quality time with family members. You may host dinners, indulge in family games, or take the initiative to strengthen bonds with your loved ones. Simple acts like eating meals together or watching films can bring unexpected emotional rewards. There will also be a focus on healthy eating and conscious consumption. This is a good time to introduce or stick to dietary changes. From a career standpoint, this Mercury transit can provide a solid push forward, particularly for those in communication-heavy professions such as sales, marketing, content creation, media, or IT consultancy. You may get recognized for your intellect and clarity of thought. Those in education or the knowledge-sharing sectors can also benefit. If you are planning to start something of your own, especially if it involves writing, advising, public speaking, or creative content production, this is a prime time to lay the foundation. Visibility and public recognition can come easily if you are willing to put your thoughts into action and share them confidently. While the overall atmosphere remains favorable, it's also important to note that Mercury's aspect on the 8th house indicates a desire for transformation, sudden financial developments, and hidden changes. Since Jupiter, the 8th lord, also aspects the same house, these transformations are likely to be favorable and could offer healing or deep insights. One must be cautious about becoming overly critical or manipulative in speech. Even though Mercury empowers you with verbal prowess, it's essential to balance intellect with empathy, especially in emotionally charged discussions with family or romantic partners. This period could see sudden financial inflows, especially from unconventional sources. Family businesses, income through children's achievements, or passive income avenues may come into play. Creative pursuits and hobbies can now turn profitable. If you've always wanted to monetize a talent, be it painting, music, or content creation, this is the time to explore those avenues. Your past efforts may now bear fruit, and your inner confidence will rise. Children and their progress also become an area of focus. If you have kids, you'll be more involved in their education or extracurricular activities. The 5th house connection of Mercury brings a stronger emotional attachment to children, and it's a good time to inspire them intellectually or creatively. Your own inner child, your hobbies, joy, passions, gets reignited. This can bring not just emotional satisfaction but financial rewards if channeled smartly. At the same time, this transit suggests that some individuals may experience a subtle struggle with impulsiveness. With Mercury operating at full mental velocity in its own Aries sign, the temptation to jump into new ventures or speak too soon may arise. It's important to weigh your words and actions, especially in situations involving financial decisions or long-term investments. A sudden interest in speculative businesses, while promising, should be pursued only after thorough research or consulting trusted advisors. Also, physical health should not be neglected. Mercury rules over the nervous system and skin. Eating well, keeping hydrated, and practicing mindfulness can help keep anxiety or overthinking at bay. If you are in the entertainment or food-related industries, this could be a standout period for success. Even those involved in the beauty, fashion, or hospitality sectors can make remarkable progress now, especially through public visibility and articulate presentation. Overall, Mercury's transit through Gemini in June 2025 is an immensely favorable phase for Taurus individuals. It combines the potency of communication, intellectual clarity, and financial sharpness in a way that can bring both tangible rewards and emotional satisfaction. From improved relationships with family members to enhanced public image and professional growth, this is a time to harness your skills, particularly those related to speech, creativity, and strategy. Whether it's investing in assets, refining your communication, or nurturing personal bonds, this is a fertile time for growth, financially, mentally, and spiritually. For Gemini, the transit of Mercury into Gemini marks a powerful and defining period. Mercury, your sign lord and the ruler of the 4th house, is returning to its own sign, Gemini, occupying your 1st house of self, personality, health, and personal direction. This is no ordinary transit. It is an exceptionally dynamic window where both Mercury and Jupiter come together in your 1st house. Their union forms a powerful yoga, an intellectually rich and transformative conjunction that brings clarity, wisdom, charm, and expressive brilliance to your life. You're stepping into a phase of heightened awareness, communication, and personal power, so be ready to make the most of it. With Mercury in its own sign and house, you become more mindful of who you are, how you express yourself, and the impact you leave on others. Your natural curiosity is ignited, and there's a noticeable spark in the way you present yourself. Whether it's through your fashion choices, grooming, or the articulate way you speak, your personality will stand out. Mercury is not just your ruling planet, but also governs communication and intellect. And in this time, it gains directional strength in the first house, empowering your mind with quick decision-making skills, witty remarks, and precise articulation. You will feel more mentally agile, self-assured, and persuasive than you have in a long time. During this period, you'll also feel a pull towards studying or reading topics that fascinate you. Mercury in the first house often brings an urge to upgrade one's knowledge, especially when it conjoins Jupiter, the significator of higher wisdom and dharma. Whether it's spiritual knowledge, academic learning, or practical skills, this is the time to dive deep into the books. You'll retain information better and apply it effectively. You may find yourself studying at home more than usual, perhaps quietly devoting your evenings to absorbing valuable insights. That same Mercury-Jupiter energy could also help you teach or share what you learn. So if you're a content creator, teacher, or student, this period is deeply beneficial. What's more, Jupiter's influence on Mercury during this transit neutralizes many of the challenges that typically come with Mercury's passage through the first house. Traditionally, Mercury in the first house may promote gossip, scattered thinking, or tactless speech. But with Jupiter's blessing, you gain restraint, wisdom, and a broader perspective. You speak more maturely, thoughtfully, and constructively. You avoid petty disputes and are more diplomatic, understanding that real power lies in measured responses and calm dialogue. As a result, not only will your communication improve, but your relationships, especially with family and close friends, will become more harmonious. Mercury also rules your fourth house, which governs your home, comfort, emotional state, and relationships with mother and family. Its transit into the first house suggests that you will internalize those fourth house energies. You will feel emotionally satisfied, content in your domestic life, and likely to experience a strong bond with your mother or maternal figures. Conversations at home become warmer, more frequent, and more fulfilling. There's a chance you might renovate or beautify your home, or even make a major purchase like a new vehicle, especially if your Dasha period supports it. You may spend more time at home, either for study, creative expression, or simply enjoying the comfort of your surroundings. There's also a strong theme of personal comfort and material pleasures during this transit. You may become drawn toward fashion, grooming, and lifestyle upgrades. Whether it's a new wardrobe, skincare routine, or decorating your personal space, you'll want to look good and feel good. Mercury is playful and stylish, and in Gemini, it's also youthful and inventive. You're likely to explore your aesthetic side, and your vibrant, attractive persona will leave a mark on others. On the professional front, this transit can be quite fruitful. Mercury governs commerce, trade, and communication, all essential for success in modern work environments. Your ability to explain ideas clearly, convince others, and pitch concepts effectively is enhanced. For those involved in writing, sales, consulting, marketing, or media, this can be a breakthrough period. Promotions, recognitions, or even new job offers may come your way, especially if you've been consistent in your efforts. The aspects on the 7th house from this position also brings excellent prospects in business partnerships or collaborative ventures. You may either start a new business or explore an idea that's been in the pipeline. If you involve your spouse or someone close to you in this venture, it could gain even more momentum. Speaking of partnerships, this transit has the potential to significantly uplift your romantic or marital life. Both Mercury and Jupiter are aspecting your 7th house of relationships. This can enhance mutual understanding, emotional bonding, and intellectual compatibility. If you're single, this could be a time when you meet someone with whom you can share deep, meaningful conversations. For those already in a relationship, this is a period to grow closer, perhaps through shared learning, travel, or working on common goals. Just be mindful not to let confidence turn into arrogance. Jupiter and Mercury in the first house can sometimes inflate the ego, making you overly self-assured or dominating. Keeping humility at the core of your communication will ensure that your relationships remain stable and fulfilling. In terms of health, this transit brings strength and vitality. The first house also governs physical health and constitution. Mercury here gives mental sharpness, while Jupiter adds stamina and inner balance. If you've been feeling low or out of sync with your body, you may now find the motivation to take care of yourself. Whether it's through walking, changing your diet, or just staying hydrated, your physical well-being will get a positive boost. Even emotional health improves, thanks to the influence of the 4th Lord, Mercury, helping you feel at peace internally. Mercury is also a planet of strategy and multitasking, and during this transit, you'll find yourself juggling multiple interests or responsibilities with surprising ease. Whether you're balancing studies, side projects, home life, or social commitments, you'll manage them without missing a beat. Business ideas will come to you naturally, and if you belong to a family-run business, you may find yourself increasingly involved or even proposing new directions for it. You'll be energetic, curious, and mentally stimulated, making it a perfect time to brainstorm, plan, and execute. The final days of Mercury's stay in Gemini, just before it moves to Cancer on June 22nd, are especially important. Use this time to declutter your physical and mental space. Give away what no longer serves you, make peace with lingering emotional conflicts, and prepare yourself for a fresh chapter. Jupiter and Mercury in the first house give you the wisdom to look forward with clarity and optimism. Just don't let the excitement rush you into impulsive decisions. Remain grounded. Overall, Gemini, this Mercury transit is your golden ticket to a sharper mind, a stronger self, deeper relationships, and improved circumstances. You are being supported by both the planet of intellect and the planet of wisdom right in your own house. It's time to trust yourself, take the lead, and set things into motion. Whether it's launching a project, transforming your personality, healing a relationship, or simply enjoying your personal space, this is your time. For Cancer, the upcoming transit of Mercury into Gemini activates your 12th house, a domain associated with foreign travel, expenses, isolation, spirituality, subconscious mind, and hidden matters. This transit becomes especially layered because Mercury rules both your 3rd house, communication, courage, siblings, and efforts, and the 12th house, losses, liberation, solitude, and it will now reside in its own 12th house during this period. To begin with, this Mercury transit brings a deeply introspective quality into your life. You'll likely find yourself contemplating profound questions related to your life's purpose, spiritual direction, or desire to break away from routine patterns. The 12th house is symbolic of isolation, and with Mercury transiting here, a withdrawal from worldly chatter and immersion into inner dialogue becomes natural. You may be more drawn toward meditation, spiritual learning, or spending time in retreat-like environments. Since Mercury will be under the strong aspectual influence of Jupiter, the planet of Dharma and expansion, your interest in higher knowledge, particularly that which is rooted in foreign cultures, philosophy, or metaphysics, will increase. Jupiter's presence here offers an important saving grace. While Mercury in the 12th can otherwise bring confusion, miscommunication, or losses, Jupiter lends guidance, meaning, and a higher purpose to your thoughts. The first half of this transit may bring some subtle disruptions. These could take the form of mental fog, excessive expenditure, or emotional fatigue. You may find yourself tempted to make impulsive purchases, especially related to travel, electronics, or spirituality-based products and services. These are classic Mercury in 12th tendencies, further amplified by Jupiter's expansive nature. This is not a great time to take financial risks or indulge in high-ticket online purchases. Avoid sharing personal data recklessly or clicking on suspicious links, because Mercury here also governs your communication devices, and there's a heightened risk of online scams, impersonation, or misuses of your digital identity. Cybersecurity should be a priority. Mercury also being your 3rd lord means that your relationship with your siblings, especially younger ones, may experience a certain distance, either physically or emotionally. They may travel away, or you may grow mentally apart during this time. There may be disagreements, or a tendency to misunderstand each other's intentions. What you try to express might not be interpreted the way you intend it to be. Mercury in the 12th tends to distort clarity in speech and written communication. So, during this transit, double-check emails, texts, and even verbal messages before conveying them, especially in your professional sphere. Professionally, if you are working in domains that involve international clients, imports-exports, foreign education, or spiritual counseling, this is a good period for making strategic progress. You may also hear news about an overseas job opportunity, or receive an invitation to travel abroad for work. If you're already involved in any documentation for foreign travel, like visas or university admissions, then this transit can push those efforts forward. That's when things begin to unfold positively, as Mercury starts to align better with Jupiter's expansive influence. Until then, remain cautious about any official paperwork or travel documents. Errors or delays are possible. If you are in a romantic relationship, be mindful not to withdraw emotionally from your partner. The 12th house transit tends to make people retreat into their private mental worlds, often without even realizing it. Your partner may feel neglected or confused by your silence. Try to bridge this gap by spending quiet quality time together. Watch a spiritual documentary, go on a peaceful retreat, or simply have a heart-to-heart conversation. Avoid conflicts especially related to money, travel, or mutual expectations. Be transparent, even if your instinct is to keep things private. For those who are married, this is a time to build deeper emotional intimacy. If there have been ongoing issues, this period offers a chance to heal them, particularly through forgiveness and spiritual compatibility. Avoid secrecy or emotionally manipulative tendencies. With Mercury casting its 7th aspect on your 6th house of daily habits and health, there's an indirect message here. Your marital health is deeply connected to how well you manage your routine, fitness, and inner stress levels. Health-wise, there may be a sense of physical fatigue or a feeling of being drained, both mentally and emotionally. The 12th house governs sleep and the subconscious, so insomnia or disturbed rest may affect you. It's essential to maintain a balanced sleep cycle, stay hydrated, and engage in exercise. Practicing meditation or pranayama regularly will help channel Mercury's mental quickness into a grounded inner stillness. Avoid stimulants like caffeine or excess screen time, especially at night. Students and learners might initially feel distracted or demotivated. The 12th house is not a naturally supportive house for Mercury's sharp intellect. Yet, with Jupiter's presence, if you continue consistent effort and avoid distractions, especially digital ones, you will eventually achieve decent results. The key here is patience and discipline, especially in the first half of the transit. From a financial standpoint, unnecessary spending is a risk. Whether it's emotional spending, online shopping, or travel costs, your wallet may feel lighter if you don't keep a check. Avoid taking new loans or investing in risky schemes, especially without proper research. If you are already working on a foreign business project or long-distance venture, this could be a good time to restructure strategies or renegotiate contracts. From a karmic and psychological perspective, it's a window into the deeper parts of your psyche, an opportunity to address buried fears, repressed desires, or limiting subconscious patterns. Mercury's placement here, especially with Jupiter's wisdom and grace, invites you to become aware of your inner dialogues. Journaling, therapy, or simply spending time in solitude can help you bring subconscious patterns to the surface. You may find yourself letting go of old attachments or beliefs that no longer serve you. After mid-June, challenges you faced in the early part of the transit may start to resolve, whether related to money, mental pressure, or spiritual confusion. You may begin to feel more aligned with your purpose, better equipped to handle your emotions, and more confident in your international or spiritual pursuits. Overall, Mercury's transit through Gemini for Cancer individuals is a phase of deep reflection, spiritual recalibration, and cautious progress. It may test your communication skills, patience, and financial discipline in the first half, but promises growth, healing, and unexpected support in the second half. Stay conscious, stay ethical, and make space for calmness, because that's where your clarity and ultimate success will emerge. For Leo, the transit of Mercury into Gemini promises a significant and auspicious period, particularly in matters related to wealth, social circles, communication, and personal growth. This planetary movement holds exceptional promise, as Mercury, the lord of your second house, finance, speech, family, and 11th house, gains, fulfillment of desires, network circles, transits its own sign of Gemini in your 11th house. When the ruler of both financial houses transits the house of profits, it creates an influential wealth yoga, resulting in expansive growth across many dimensions of life. This is not just a standard Mercury transit. Mercury enters its own sign of Gemini, bringing all its mercurial strengths, sharp intellect, fast communication, adaptability, and wit to the forefront. Mercury is conjoined with Jupiter, the lord of your 5th house of creativity, children, and romance, as well as wisdom and intelligence. The union of Mercury and Jupiter in the 11th house significantly expands your mental horizon, network, and material abundance. This creates a perfect setting for wise financial planning, persuasive communication, and intellectual gains. Expect your social influence to grow steadily during this period. One of the most visible impacts of this transit will be on your financial life. With both the 2nd and 11th house lords energizing the 11th house, your income is likely to multiply. There could be gains from unexpected sources, especially from your social network, elder siblings, professional associations, or your communication skills. If you're involved in any field that relies on marketing, digital media, writing, public speaking, or consultancy, this could be a boom phase. Online businesses, content creation, freelancing, and startups could see remarkable expansion. If your Dasha period also support growth, you might experience a visible upgrade in wealth status. This is also a highly favorable time for businesspersons, as Mercury brings negotiation skills, clarity of speech, and practical thinking into your profit house. You will be able to make bold decisions and initiate new business collaborations. Jupiter's influence will bless these ventures with wisdom and sustainability. You might even get lucrative investment opportunities, and your ability to analyze risks and returns will be particularly sharp during this period. The possibility of gaining financial guidance from elder siblings or seasoned mentors is high. For those waiting on promotions, bonuses, or pay hikes, this transit could deliver excellent news. In your personal and social life, this transit brings great joy and expansion. Your friendships deepen, and you may reconnect with old contacts who bring positive opportunities your way. There is a beautiful harmony in your interactions, and your communication is more engaging and influential than usual. You may become the center of attention in social gatherings, and your ideas may attract powerful allies. You'll enjoy spending quality time with friends, visiting exciting places like eclectic restaurants or cultural venues. Your presence will have a magnetic pull, attracting like-minded people, and some of these relationships could become vital pillars in your long-term personal or professional growth. Family life during this transit also brings comfort and blessings. Since Mercury rules your second house of family and is now placed in the 11th, there may be family gatherings, celebrations, or get-togethers during this time. You may also receive financial support or emotional encouragement from your family. There's also a possibility of receiving benefits through joint family assets or inheritance. You'll be inclined to use your income for family enjoyment, perhaps on gifts, dining out, or hosting events. A word of caution: be wise with lending or borrowing money within the family or social circle, as there may be requests that you may feel compelled to fulfill but might not get returns on. In terms of love and relationships, this transit is enriching. Jupiter's conjunction with Mercury aspects your 5th house of romance and creativity, giving you a charming, intelligent aura. Singles may find themselves engaging in flirtatious, intellectually stimulating conversations, possibly leading to new romantic connections. For those in relationships, this is a beautiful time to nurture love through better communication. As Mercury and Jupiter will later be joined by the Sun, your sign lord, there's a subtle warning: ego clashes may arise, especially if one partner tries to dominate the other. Practice humility and patience, and your bond will only deepen. For students and academic pursuits, the Mercury-Jupiter combo gives a tremendous mental edge. Students preparing for higher education, competitive exams, or international admissions are likely to see breakthroughs. Your mind will be sharp, organized, and deeply analytical. If you're applying for universities abroad or seeking scholarships, this transit supports your ambitions. You may also find mentors or professors who guide you effectively. The 11th house also represents hopes, dreams, and aspirations. During this Mercury transit, you're likely to see some of your long-standing desires come to fruition. Whether it's a material goal, like purchasing a desired luxury item, or a personal aspiration, the stars align to support your success. But with desires comes indulgence. Since Mercury also rules your 2nd house of food and dietary habits, you might feel tempted by indulgent foods and lavish spending. Maintain discipline where needed. You will also feel driven to learn investment strategies, possibly diving deeper into financial planning, stock markets, or passive income generation. Since the 2nd house also signifies stored wealth and Mercury governs accounting and analysis, this is the perfect time to revisit your savings, diversify your investments, or seek financial counsel. Another subtle yet powerful result of this transit is your enhanced speech and persuasive skills. Your words will carry weight, and this is a brilliant time to conduct negotiations, close deals, pitch projects, or even speak publicly. If you're in media, politics, teaching, or entrepreneurship, your influence may increase visibly. You may even attract media attention or public recognition. Your relationship with siblings, cousins, and close colleagues will also thrive. There may be increased bonding, shared plans, or collaboration. You may also help someone in your circle financially or emotionally, earning goodwill and respect. Spiritually, the transit keeps your energies focused on the material, but since Jupiter is involved, your sense of generosity, ethical responsibility, and long-term thinking is likely to increase. You may also feel drawn to helping others in your network, possibly guiding younger professionals or students. Overall, the Mercury transit in Gemini is a golden period for Leo individuals. It's a window of financial expansion, social elevation, and personal charisma. With Mercury and Jupiter forming a powerful wealth yoga in the 11th house and your sign lord Sun soon joining the party, your gains, fulfillment of desires, and visibility will all rise. Just watch your ego, stay grounded, and make the most of the opportunities that flow toward you, because they will come in abundance. For Virgo, the transit of Mercury into Gemini marks a pivotal time in terms of professional life, public status, and personal development. As Mercury is your sign lord and simultaneously the ruler of the 10th house of career, this dual ownership elevates the influence of this transit. And when Mercury transits its own sign of Gemini, which is also your 10th house, it gains strength and the capacity to deliver results that are both tangible and transformative, especially in the area of profession, recognition, and social hierarchy. During this transit, you're likely to find yourself sharply focused on your career, your reputation, and your ambitions. Your professional life becomes the centerpiece of your attention, and you may experience an intensified drive to succeed and climb higher on the social and professional ladder. This is an ideal time to showcase your skills, push forward new ideas, and demonstrate your worth in the workplace. Your communication skills, intelligence, and decision-making abilities are amplified, helping you to convey your ideas with precision and authority. Whether you're employed or self-employed, you'll notice a significant uptick in your ability to manage responsibilities efficiently, and others will begin to take serious note of your dedication and clarity of purpose. The presence of Mercury, your 1st and 10th lord, in its own sign in the 10th house also signifies a time of alignment. Your personal identity and your career pursuits are in sync. You're not just working to earn a living, you're actively crafting a legacy, positioning yourself for respect and influence in your field. For those who have been unemployed or in search of better opportunities, this is a window where significant developments can take place. A job offer that matches your skill set, or even a dream position may present itself. If you're already employed, a promotion, raise, or new responsibilities that elevate your position could be on the horizon. Mercury's association with clarity, logic, and diplomacy means that you'll be able to communicate effectively with higher-ups, navigate office politics wisely, and gain favor in important discussions or negotiations. Legal matters or bureaucratic hurdles, if any, are likely to be resolved in your favor or move ahead constructively during this time. Your problem-solving abilities are sharp, and you may be called upon to offer guidance or take charge of key initiatives. If your role involves speaking, writing, analysis, or marketing, expect considerable recognition, as this is Mercury's domain, and you're carrying its essence. Adding to the significance is the conjunction of Mercury with Jupiter in Gemini during this transit. Jupiter is your 4th and 7th lord, ruling over emotional security, home life, and business partnerships. The convergence of Mercury and Jupiter in the 10th house forms an auspicious, powerful yoga, a combination that often signifies mentorship, wisdom sharing, and collaborative success. If you're in a business or planning to start one, this is an ideal time to lay the groundwork or expand your ventures. Guidance from a mentor, association with experienced people, or collaborating with wise professionals could lead to beneficial outcomes. Mercury and Jupiter together indicate a blend of intellect and wisdom, making this a time where long-term strategies could be born. You may think about building a brand, starting an online business, or delving into knowledge-based industries. Teaching, consulting, marketing, or media-related roles especially thrive now. Even in a corporate setup, your ideas will be sought after. Presentations, public speaking, and strategic meetings are likely to be successful. You might also consider upskilling yourself, learning a new technical skill, getting certified in a niche area, or taking a short course that elevates your marketability. Notably, with the Sun joining this planetary cluster soon after, your leadership potential will shine. Sun's entry adds authority and charisma to your speech, and if you play your cards right, you could emerge as a leader within your team or organization. On the personal front, the transit also influences your mood and emotional clarity. Your positive state of mind will reflect in your relationships. You're likely to come across as calm, balanced, and mentally alert, which helps in maintaining harmony at home. Conversations with your spouse or loved ones will flow easily, and there may be travel or quality time that strengthens your bond. One must be cautious of potential ego clashes in relationships. With Mercury and Jupiter eventually being joined by the Sun, issues around pride, dominance, or needing validation may arise. It's best to practice humility, especially in romantic or marital relationships, to keep things smooth. Health-wise, Mercury being sign lord itself means you should feel physically well and mentally energized during this time. Your immunity, energy levels, and decision-making capacity are well supported. If you've had health concerns recently, this is a phase where recovery is possible through better lifestyle choices. You may also become more conscious of your appearance or personality projection and take steps to improve them. The unique strength of this transit lies in the fact that the 10th lord is placed in its own house, the 10th, which is a textbook example of a powerful career-building configuration. This alignment strengthens all significations of the 10th house: professional advancement, public image, ambition, societal role, and achievements. The 10th house is also about karma, what you're meant to do in this lifetime, and this is the time to act on it. The results you see now may well lay the foundation for long-term stability and stature. The transit also stimulates the desire to build a legacy. Mercury rules over communication and intellect, and as it aligns with the 10th house of status, you're inclined to think not just about the present job or task at hand but also about how you'll be remembered. It's a time to build your professional identity from the inside out. Whether that means launching a professional website, networking more intentionally, or pitching innovative ideas, the universe is offering you a golden opportunity to expand your reach. You may experience a desire to reform, manage, or modernize outdated systems, especially in government, legal, or administrative setups. If your work involves dealing with such sectors, expect some breakthroughs or positive developments. Legal documentation, contracts, or important paperwork can be finalized with clarity and favorable outcomes. During this time, everything about your identity, your speech, your thought process, your intellect, is harmonized with your actions in the world. You will likely come out of this period more professionally established, more confident in your capabilities, and more socially recognized. Overall, the Mercury transit in Gemini offers Virgo individuals a rare and powerful alignment of personal identity and professional expression. With Mercury operating as both the engine of the self and the driver of your worldly ambition, you stand at the threshold of a meaningful ascent. From promotions to personal fulfillment, from mentorships to managerial growth, the potential is immense. For Libra, the transit of Mercury in Gemini brings a deeply philosophical and transformative phase. Mercury, which governs your 9th house of higher wisdom, dharma, and long-distance journeys, as well as your 12th house of foreign lands, spirituality, and subconscious losses, will be traveling through its own sign in the 9th house. This alignment initiates a period where your intellectual curiosity, philosophical inclinations, and quest for deeper truth are significantly heightened. At the same time, practical results emerge, especially in relation to foreign travel, education, and spiritual development. This transit may mark the beginning of a period in which you seek truth through various experiences, some structured, like university education or spiritual training, and others more organic, like traveling abroad and immersing yourself in new cultures. Mercury's strong placement in the 9th house, in its own sign Gemini, alongside Jupiter, which is also transiting Gemini, and rules your 3rd and 6th houses, forms a potent, powerful yoga. This combination empowers your thirst for knowledge, especially knowledge that has spiritual or philosophical dimensions. You may find yourself drawn to reading scriptures, ancient philosophical texts, or attending lectures by spiritual teachers. You could also be inspired to begin writing or publishing content that expresses your beliefs and learnings, especially in online platforms or academic forums. This is a time when spiritual exploration and foreign travel can go hand in hand. The involvement of the 12th Lord Mercury in this transit, while traditionally considered inauspicious due to associations with losses and expenses, becomes particularly favorable when viewed through the lens of spiritual evolution and long-term investments in personal growth. The losses you may experience now are not necessarily negative. They are more like the sacrifices one makes to gain wisdom. For instance, some Libra students might decide to take a break from conventional studies to pursue something that resonates more with their heart and soul. Others may choose to study abroad, apply to foreign universities, or explore spiritual education in monasteries or retreat centers. Travel-related expenses will increase, but many of these will be directed toward meaningful pursuits like spiritual journeys, higher education, or cross-cultural learning. For professionals, especially those working in export, trade, consulting, travel, or digital education, this is an excellent time to expand your horizons. Businesses connected with foreign clients or international commerce may see a boom, especially if the native's Dasha period supports this transit. If you have been waiting for your visa approval, green card processing, or international job assignment, the doors may finally open now. The power of Mercury, conjoined with Jupiter and later joined by the Sun in Gemini, forms a rare and dynamic triad that can significantly improve your professional status through foreign exposure or new educational credentials. There's also an active 3rd and 9th house axis during this period, highlighting communication, writing, and short-term efforts, 3rd house, that feed into your long-term purpose and belief system, 9th house. You may engage in publishing, blogging, YouTube teaching, podcasting, or cross-cultural exchanges. If you're involved in media, content creation, or writing fields, this is your window to shine, especially if your content is educational, philosophical, or spiritually inclined. You may attract a wide audience from different cultures or even develop a reputation as a thought leader. That said, this transit doesn't come without caution. Since Mercury also rules your 12th house, and Jupiter rules your 6th house of conflicts, debts, and challenges, there can be moments of instability in your personal life. Health-wise, take extra care of your father or any elderly male figure in your life, especially if he is already dealing with chronic issues. This could be a time when your responsibilities toward your father increase, emotionally, financially, or even through travel related to his health needs. Some of you may also face ideological differences with their mentors or spiritual teachers, which may create temporary disillusionment but overall lead to deeper understanding. Marital and familial relationships may also require attention. While romantic bonds may feel invigorated due to shared intellectual interests or travel plans, relationships with spouses or in-laws may become strained, particularly if there's a lack of mutual understanding or time. For married individuals, your partner might go through a period of emotional vulnerability or face health-related issues. During this transit, it's essential to support your partner with empathy, even if you feel mentally occupied with your own journey. Interestingly, while Mercury in the 9th house can sometimes weaken the influence of luck or delay the fruits of effort, the fact that Mercury is both the 9th and 12th lord and is transiting its own sign shifts this dynamic. Instead of direct rewards, you might experience indirect blessings, opportunities that come disguised as detours or even as setbacks at first. For instance, a job rejection might lead to a better opportunity abroad, or a temporary financial struggle might result in spiritual awakening. If you remain patient, the outcomes of this period will prove to be both materially rewarding and spiritually fulfilling. The conjunction with Jupiter in Gemini also opens the potential for long-distance romantic relationships or meaningful connections with people from different backgrounds. You may meet someone during your travels or online from a different cultural or religious background. This connection could evolve into a significant and transformative relationship, possibly even leading to marriage if other chart factors and dashas support it. The Sun joining Mercury and Jupiter in Gemini will create Buddha-Diphya Yoga, giving a royal and authoritative touch to your ideas. Your thoughts will carry more weight, and others may seek your advice or mentorship. This makes the transit particularly auspicious for those in teaching, coaching, motivational speaking, law, or religious instruction. If you've ever wanted to become a thought leader, guru, or educator in a public domain, this is the time to lay the foundation. Despite the blessings, remember that both the 9th and 12th houses can deal with transitions, endings, and karmic closures. This is a time to be introspective, to reflect on your beliefs, values, and life direction. If certain belief systems or personal ideologies no longer resonate with you, this transit offers the clarity and intellectual capacity to change them. You're encouraged to release attachments to outdated philosophies and embrace a more universal understanding of truth. Overall, the Mercury transit in Gemini activates a deeply enriching and expansive period for you as a Libra native. Foreign travel, higher education, spiritual growth, and intellectual exploration are the highlights of this time. While you may face a few emotional and familial complexities, especially regarding your father or partner, the larger picture is one of awakening, expansion, and higher knowledge. Stay open to life's unexpected lessons, travel with purpose, and trust that the guidance you need will arrive, sometimes from a teacher, sometimes from within. For Scorpio, Mercury's transit in Gemini during June 2025 marks a deeply transformative and intense period. This transit activates your 8th house, which governs occult knowledge, hidden matters, sudden changes, inheritance, shared wealth, and psychological transformation. Mercury, which rules both your 8th house and 11th house, is now moving through its own sign in this very 8th house, creating a strong planetary yoga that has the potential to offer profound internal shifts as well as tangible, though often unexpected, external outcomes. From the outset, this transit brings a magnetic pull toward the mysterious and unknown. Your intellectual energy gets directed toward the areas of astrology, mysticism, hidden sciences, and forbidden knowledge. You may find yourself captivated by research, studying symbols, diving into esoteric literature, or even exploring ancient scriptures and metaphysical ideas. This is a time when your natural intensity and need for truth lead you to investigate life's deeper questions: life, death, transformation, and the cycle of rebirth. Your curiosity is not surface level now. It's driven by the need to understand what lies beneath the visible, what is unsaid, and what is hidden. Mercury here, conjoined with Jupiter, creates a powerful alliance of wisdom and articulation in the House of Secrets. You may find yourself exceptionally eloquent when discussing complex or taboo subjects. This conjunction also bestows a razor-sharp intellect, which makes this a very productive period for research work, especially in fields related to psychology, finance, history, or the occult. For some of you, your ideas may be ahead of their time, so it's important to trust your inner knowing even if the outer world doesn't immediately validate it. This is also a time where old documents, hidden wealth, inheritance issues, or insurance-related paperwork might suddenly surface. If you've been involved in any disputes regarding ancestral property or family wealth, there is potential for resolution, especially after mid-June. Things that were stuck or unclear may suddenly start moving forward. Mercury's placement in its own sign suggests that these matters could now turn in your favor, provided your ongoing Maha-Dasha or Antarctica is also supportive. This transit may also bring in some form of unexpected gain, be it through inheritance, insurance, bonuses, or even through the goodwill of friends or networks. The 8th house is never an easy terrain. It brings hidden turbulence, and Mercury being the 11th lord here implies that your gains, social networks, and friendships may become sources of instability or loss. You may experience a sudden dip in income, or even betrayal from someone in your friend circle. Financially, this period calls for extra caution. Avoid risky investments, gambling, and speculative ventures. If you've previously invested in stocks, gold, or other financial instruments, this transit may lead to a temporary decline in their value. It's advisable to not make any new financial commitments or investments during this time. Socially, this transit can be isolating. The 11th Lord and the May 8th signal a sudden fallout with friends or a realization that certain associations no longer serve your growth. You may find yourself withdrawing from your social life, keeping your thoughts and plans more private than usual. There may be a need to protect your energy and secrets, and rightly so. This period encourages discretion. While there is no harm in being selective about whom you trust, do try to avoid paranoia or extreme suspicion, especially if you're facing challenges in your personal or professional relationships. In romantic matters, the 8th house can manifest as intense passion, but also temptation and secrecy. For married or committed individuals, there may be sudden moments of emotional vulnerability or confrontation. There is a possibility of being drawn toward extramarital or secret affairs, perhaps even with someone from your friend circle. Such relationships may lead to complications or scandal. It's best to avoid any entanglement that could later bring regret or damage your reputation. If you're already in a committed relationship, this is a good time to deepen intimacy by sharing emotional truths and strengthening mutual trust. Health-wise, the 8th house also governs chronic issues and hidden ailments. This is a good time to take preventive care, go for a health checkup if needed, and don't ignore any signs your body gives you. Psychological health, too, takes focus. Deep-seated fears or trauma may come to the surface, but this is also an opportunity to heal. Practices like therapy, journaling, meditation, or even energy healing can be highly beneficial. Jupiter's presence in the May 8th amplifies spiritual awareness and offers divine support in your healing process. If you're inclined toward yoga, tantra, or meditation, this transit can initiate significant breakthroughs in your inner journey. Professionally, the effects may be mixed. Mercury's analytical energy and Jupiter's expansive influence in your 8th house can help you solve complex problems or uncover hidden opportunities at work. If you're in professions like research, psychology, investigation, finance, healing, or anything involving secrecy or back-end operations, this could be an excellent period. Sudden career shifts, departmental transfers, or changes in responsibilities are also likely. You may receive behind-the-scenes support from influential people, but open recognition might be lacking for now. Be patient and focus on the value you bring rather than the praise you receive. During this time, your speech also becomes critical, with both Mercury and Jupiter casting aspects on your 2nd house, which governs speech and accumulated wealth. Your words carry great weight. What you say, and how you say it, can influence both personal and professional outcomes. It's important to speak thoughtfully and avoid gossip or sarcasm, as Saturn's aspect on this house may otherwise bring harsh lessons. On a positive note, if you use your communication to uplift others or to share knowledge, you may gain admiration and respect. Dietary habits could also undergo a change. Your body will be sensitive during this time, so treat it as such. Avoid toxicity in any form, whether food, media, or relationships. Overall, Mercury's transit through Gemini for Scorpio is a mixed yet potent time. On one hand, it activates powerful energies related to inner transformation, research, hidden wisdom, and sudden gains. On the other, it demands caution in finances, discretion in social circles, and care in relationships. The themes of secrecy, depth, and self-mastery will dominate, but those willing to look within, embrace change, and trust the process will find this transit overall empowering. Whether through a spiritual awakening, a financial breakthrough, or personal rebirth, this period holds the potential to bring you closer to your true power. For Sagittarius, the transit of Mercury into Gemini, your 7th house, ushers in a period rich in interpersonal dynamics, professional collaborations, and potentially transformative relationship experiences. Mercury, being the lord of both your 7th house of partnerships and 10th house of career, becomes a powerful force of dual significance during this transit. Its entry into its own sign Gemini sharpens intellect, facilitates communication, and energizes all forms of partnership, whether romantic, business, or professional. Your focus naturally shifts toward the people who mirror you, your spouse, business partners, or key collaborators. There's a heightened exchange of ideas, more discussions, and a sharper sense of mutual interest. You may find your spouse or long-term partner becoming a key figure in shaping your career or supporting your ambitions. Their insights, encouragement, or practical involvement might help you climb new rungs of your professional ladder. For those seeking companionship, you are likely to feel drawn toward individuals who are witty, expressive, and mentally stimulating. There could be conversations that spark a sense of connection instantly, and relationships born under this transit may grow quickly, rooted in mutual understanding. On the professional front, if you're already running a business, this is a highly favorable period for attracting new clients, sealing deals, and even expanding into new markets with the help of others. You might come across investors, collaborators, or partners who genuinely add value and align with your vision. If you've been considering a joint venture, this could be the right time to move ahead, as Mercury sharpens negotiation skills and helps you put forth your ideas with clarity and confidence. Mercury conjoined with Jupiter and Sun can also produce certain frictions in partnerships, especially when communication becomes too frequent or intense. You might notice that while conversations with your spouse or partners increase, they might sometimes tilt toward miscommunication, misunderstandings, or even ego clashes. This is not necessarily because of ill will, but due to Mercury's tendency to analyze and criticize, combined with Jupiter's expansive nature, which can amplify even minor issues. It's important to maintain patience in your personal life. If your partner becomes emotional or displays sudden outbursts, your calm and composed response can turn tense moments into opportunities for deeper bonding. Practicing mindfulness in speech, avoiding sarcasm, and steering clear of impulsive responses will help maintain the harmony in relationships. This is particularly important after mid-June when the Sun enters your 7th house and joins Mercury and Jupiter, an alignment that can intensify your sense of identity but might also add heat to interactions. Mercury and Gemini forming a conjunction with Jupiter, your sign lord, in your 7th house enhances your charm, oratory skills, and capacity to connect with others on a deeper intellectual level. Both these planets are directionally weak in the 7th house. Mercury prefers the north and Jupiter the east, so their placement here demands more conscious effort to make the most of their strengths. You may feel an urge to place your personal priorities above others' needs during this time, which isn't entirely wrong. In fact, this self-focus can help you reassess what kind of relationships and collaborations you want in life. Yet, this must be balanced with empathy and consideration, especially toward your spouse or significant others. Interestingly, both Mercury and Jupiter are casting their aspect on your 1st house. This can stimulate you toward self-improvement, personal development, and better articulation of your goals. It's a good time for self-education, refining leadership qualities, or upgrading your business acumen. You may also consider seeking mentorship or guidance from someone experienced, particularly when dealing with negotiations or contractual matters. If you are single and interested in building a new romantic relationship, this period appears highly promising. There's a genuine potential for meeting someone with whom you share mutual chemistry, perhaps even through professional settings. If you're already dating someone, especially from your workplace, the bond may deepen and head toward formal commitment, or even marriage. For those already married, the emotional bond with your spouse could become stronger, provided you respect each other's space and communicate openly without defensiveness. From a business perspective, this transit could lead to diversification or scaling. Mercury here supports discussions, networking, pitch-making, and public relations. This is the right time to introduce a product, reach out to new markets, or even form strategic alliances. If you've been eyeing potential investors or trying to secure funding, this period may yield favorable results, particularly if the groundwork has been laid earlier. Your words and pitches will have more impact, so take initiative in communication-based efforts. When it comes to government-related matters or bureaucratic procedures, you must exercise caution, especially after mid-June. The Sun, after moving into your 7th house, could bring about ego clashes in public matters or minor issues with authority figures. Adhering strictly to rules, ensuring documentation is clear, and avoiding any shortcuts will save you unnecessary trouble. Keep a calm and respectful tone when dealing with officials or administrative processes. This transit also brings a karmic flavor to relationships. The presence of Jupiter, your sign lord, in the 7th house alongside Mercury, indicates that you may be required to settle past debts related to partnership dynamics. You may also encounter people from your past with whom there are unresolved emotions. Don't ignore this spiritual or karmic dimension of the current energy. Some conflicts, especially those repeating a pattern, may point to old lessons you still need to learn. At a personal level, you are being guided to strengthen your communication skills, not just in terms of words, but also listening. Reflecting deeply on how you respond, how much space you give others to express themselves, and how honest you are in relationships will bring long-term benefits. Also, this is a great time for self-care. Take time to nurture yourself, indulge in intellectual hobbies, or explore new learning paths. This self-investment will eventually reflect positively in all your partnerships. Overall, this Mercury transit in Gemini brings a rich interplay of growth, communication, and self-discovery for Sagittarius individuals. While the focus is strongly placed on others, partners, clients, spouses, the underlying message is about finding your own voice, learning to relate maturely, and aligning your professional ambitions with the right kind of support. With a little mindfulness and a lot of clarity, this period can significantly enhance both your career and your closest relationships. For Capricorn, Mercury's transit into Gemini marks a pivotal period of challenge, transformation, and triumph. Positioned in your 6th house, Mercury, your 6th and 9th house lord, enters its own sign, where its intellectual brilliance, analytical sharpness, and strategic finesse are all heightened. This house governs debts, diseases, disputes, enemies, service, and routine life. The 6th house is a battlefield, but Mercury's placement here turns you into a strategic person, making you capable of navigating conflicts with clarity, composure, and intellect. As Mercury is not only the 6th lord but also the 9th lord of fortune, dharma, and higher wisdom, its double role enhances both your daily struggle and your spiritual willpower to rise above them. This journey won't be without friction. The beginning of the transit may feel draining. There might be minor health disturbances, work-related pressure, arguments with peers or subordinates, or even challenges involving litigation or loan-related stress. But the silver lining here is this: the more you apply effort, strategy, and adaptability, the quicker you turn adversity into opportunity. Mercury's conjunction with Jupiter, your 3rd lord of courage, communication, and action, adds another dynamic layer. Together in the 6th house, they sharpen your intellect and give you tremendous power to tackle day-to-day hurdles. If you're preparing for competitive exams, job interviews, or facing stiff rivalry at work, this duo can be a game-changer. Your communication becomes more refined, your logic becomes harder to refute, and your ability to think quickly under pressure will improve. For those in professions related to writing, analysis, law, medicine, education, or media, this is a particularly productive time. You may draft something powerful, an article, paper, or book that receives attention or recognition. Professionally, this period has immense potential. Mercury, the planet of communication, ideas, and intellect, operating from the house of service, makes this an excellent time for job seekers, especially in government, healthcare, or service-based industries. If you're already employed, seniors may acknowledge your sharp thinking and timely decisions. You may even earn a promotion or a new role due to your ability to solve complex issues. Those in business might discover new streams of income, perhaps from foreign clients, international projects, or ideas you invested in months ago. Previous efforts and long-pending proposals may now begin to yield rewards. All of this comes with a warning: do not overwork or take on more than you can realistically manage. Mercury in the 6th house can create an obsessive tendency to fix everything and compete aggressively. This may lead to stress, sleeplessness, or digestive issues, especially since the 6th house also governs health. You must prioritize self-care. Incorporating hydration, balanced meals, and short breaks between work will prevent burnout. Since this house also governs the nervous system, nervous agitation or mental restlessness could be experienced. Be mindful not to let stress build up unchecked. Now, while Mercury's influence is favorable in professional and intellectual matters, relationships might feel the heat. You may be so focused on career and competition that your personal connections suffer, especially romantic ones. Clashes may arise with your partner due to neglect or misunderstandings. These are not unsolvable issues. A little extra effort, empathetic communication, and quality time can repair the emotional drift. If handled wisely, this time can actually strengthen the foundation of your relationship. On the family front, while Mercury's logical and strategic bent allows you to handle disputes intelligently, the presence of the 9th Lord, Mercury, in the 6th house can indicate temporary friction with your father, mentors, or spiritual guides. You may feel unsupported or even criticized by figures you once looked up to. The spiritual path may seem clouded, or you might start questioning your existing belief systems. This is a karmic test, one that compels you to find your own wisdom. Use this time to reevaluate your ethics, religious views, and higher values. Detachment from old dogmas may lead you toward your authentic spiritual path. This transit brings the 9th Lord into a house of struggle, which symbolizes that your good fortune might be tied to challenges. Luck will not work unless you put in real effort. This could also mean obstacles in travel plans, delays in higher education, or hurdles in publishing or social media ventures. If you work in journalism, publishing, or international business, you may face bureaucratic delays or criticism from higher authorities. The influence of the 6th house may also pull you into scenarios where you must defend your integrity or battle against unfair treatment. If your natal Mercury and 6th house are strong, you will emerge victorious, perhaps even publicly celebrated for your stand. Financially, this transit is largely favorable. Despite some expenses, especially because of Jupiter's 12th house rulership, the outflows will generally be meaningful. Investments in health, learning, or professional tools. You will be keen on spending wisely, and unnecessary luxury or wasteful purchases won't attract you. Instead, your financial acumen sharpens, and you may find yourself budgeting better, investing smarter, and perhaps even clearing off debts. This period is highly suitable for dealing with bank loans, insurance, or financial settlements. If you're seeking a loan for education or business, approvals are likely now. The overall tone of this transit is one of sharpening your sword, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and professionally. It's a time when you become more aware of your limitations and strengths, of enemies both within and outside. While the first half of the transit may test your resilience, the latter half brings in strength, clarity, and a sense of victory. You'll walk out of this period with stronger willpower, clearer goals, and a fortified sense of self. The combination of Mercury's wit and Jupiter's wisdom empowers you to not only survive adversities but use them as stepping stones toward success. To conclude, Mercury's transit in Gemini in your 6th house is a powerful chapter in your journey. It invites you to confront your challenges head-on with intelligence and grit. Yes, there will be delays, tests of faith, and perhaps even emotional setbacks, but this is your battle to win. This period offers you a chance to become your most refined, powerful, and resilient version. By June 22nd, not only will you have overcome many inner and outer obstacles, but you'll also find that your intellect, confidence, and moral strength have evolved to an entirely new level. For Aquarius, the transit of Mercury into Gemini, occurring in your 5th house, ushers in a period of heightened intellectual and creative stimulation, yet layered with subtle complexities. The 5th house is associated with intelligence, creativity, romance, children, speculation, and all pursuits that bring joy and personal expression. With Mercury, the planet of communication, analysis, and intelligence, moving into its own sign Gemini in this house, the mind becomes razor-sharp, restless, and eager to explore new ideas, indulge in meaningful conversations, and venture into creative and speculative territories. Mercury, as the lord of your 5th and 8th houses, plays a dual role. Its rulership of the 5th makes this transit inherently significant for matters concerning love life, children, education, artistic expression, and entertainment. On the other hand, its governance over the 8th house, ruler of transformation, sudden events, inheritance, secrets, and occult sciences, brings a layer of intensity, secrecy, and transformative energy into this otherwise joyful domain. Because Mercury is transiting its own sign, Gemini, this duality works in your favor. The mind is not only quick and witty but also capable of delving deep into mysterious subjects, making this an excellent time for researchers, students, writers, and teachers alike. This transit is doubly potent due to the powerful conjunction it forms with Jupiter, the lord of your 2nd and 11th houses, which are associated with wealth, speech, values, income, gains, networking, and fulfillment of desires. This creates a powerful yoga, a combination that enhances learning, wisdom, and the ability to communicate effectively. While Mercury brings analytical sharpness, Jupiter adds wisdom and foresight, making your thought processes both expansive and meaningful. Despite Mercury's typical tendency to scatter thoughts in the 5th house, Jupiter's grounding presence stabilizes the mental energy, ensuring that your ideas are not only innovative but also productive and well-directed. Romantically, this is a time when you may feel a strong urge to express your love, perhaps through words, poetry, gestures, or shared intellectual pursuits. If you're already in a relationship, this phase allows you to strengthen your bond through better communication and quality time. If you are single, there's a magnetic charm in your communication style that may attract admirers, but it also comes with a caution. The 8th house rulership of Mercury implies that any romantic connection initiated during this period may carry elements of secrecy or emotional complexity. It's advisable to avoid impulsive or scandalous romantic decisions. Professionally, your creativity and communication skills are at an all-time high. Whether you're in business or employment, you'll find that your ability to pitch ideas, create compelling narratives, or present yourself confidently leads to tangible gains. Mercury-Jupiter's mutual influence on your 11th house of gains and social networks opens up opportunities to collaborate, join new circles, and enhance your visibility, particularly if you're in a communication-driven profession like media, marketing, education, publishing, or social media. This is an ideal period to invest in building your personal brand, increasing your online presence, or launching intellectual or creative products. Financially, the 5th house being active indicates speculative success, but with Mercury also ruling the unpredictable 8th house, it's imperative to approach investment opportunities with care. Jupiter's involvement brings fortune, but only when paired with wisdom. Long-term planning, research-driven investing, and avoiding hasty decisions will yield gains. For those working in sectors like finance, trading, insurance, or research-based industries, This period offers breakthroughs, insights, and possibly even promotions or bonuses tied to your analytical work. On the educational front, this is a golden time for students and researchers. If you are preparing for exams, engaging in higher studies, or even pursuing niche subjects like occult sciences, metaphysics, or psychology, this transit empowers you with concentration, articulation, and insight. You may find yourself diving deeper into topics that were once intimidating, and with Jupiter's expansive influence, your understanding broadens, leading to academic recognition or success in competitive exams. For those with children, the period can be a blend of pride and occasional concern. Your children may display intellectual brilliance or creative flair, but sudden events or behavioral fluctuations may catch you off guard. The 8th house influence suggests the potential for minor challenges, either health-related or emotional, regarding children. Yet these are likely to be short-lived and manageable, especially if you maintain open communication and emotional support. Mentally, your thought process may run at an accelerated pace. Mercury in its own Aries sign brings curiosity and restlessness. Jupiter provides spiritual grounding and intellectual maturity, but the presence of the Sun, your 7th house lord, joining Mercury and Jupiter later in the transit adds a fiery charge to this mix. Sun and Mercury together form Buddha-Diffya Yoga, amplifying confidence, eloquence, and leadership in intellectual pursuits. Simultaneously, Sun and Jupiter form a Raj Yoga in your 5th house, further enhancing your status in your field, particularly if you are an educator, leader, or mentor. A word of caution: this energetic alignment can inflate your ego, making you prone to overestimating your abilities or underestimating risks. Overconfidence in speculative ventures or public statements could lead to minor setbacks. It's important to remain humble, grounded, and to seek feedback before making bold moves, especially in professional settings. Health-wise, while there are no immediate red flags, the 8th house connection and the intense mental energy suggest you need to prioritize rest and emotional regulation. Meditation, journaling, or any activity that calms the mind will be beneficial. Also, follow a disciplined diet and avoid overindulgence in stimulants like caffeine or digital distractions that overstimulate the already active mind. Finally, this is a transformative period, one where the fusion of intellect, creativity, and inner transformation allows you to shape your future path more consciously. Whether it's through investing in long-term education, expanding your romantic life, or building a speculative strategy that pays off later, the seeds sown during this time carry the potential for success. The 5th house being so heavily activated also means your personal expression and individuality are under spotlight. What you create or share now has the power to influence others. Embrace this with responsibility. Overall, for Aquarius individuals, Mercury's transit in Gemini is not just a passing movement, it's a window of opportunity, where intellect, emotion, and transformation merge to offer substantial growth across romance, career, education, and finance. Just make sure you remain discerning, grounded, and open to feedback, and the rewards will follow. For Pisces, the transit of Mercury into Gemini during June 2025 marks a powerful shift of planetary energy into the 4th house, the domain of home, family, comfort, emotional foundations, mother, and real estate. Since Mercury governs both your 4th and 7th houses, its movement into its own sign in the 4th house becomes deeply impactful. The dual rulership of Mercury adds complexity and depth to this transit. While one part of it strengthens your emotional grounding, the other brings the involvement of your spouse or business partners into matters of home and personal life. The 4th house, already naturally aligned with Cancerian energy, gains mercurial sharpness and clarity, and the results are subtly profound. From the outset, this transit enhances communication with family members, especially your mother. Conversations during this time are likely to be meaningful, intimate, and emotionally rewarding. If you have had any misunderstandings or distance from your mother or maternal figures, this is the perfect window for reconciliation and closeness. You will find yourself drawn to spend more time at home, perhaps engaging in shared intellectual hobbies like reading, board games, or creative writing with your loved ones. There may also be a tendency to rediscover old interests or delve into nostalgic topics and stories that bring emotional nourishment. Mercury's conjunction with Jupiter, your sign lord and 10th lord, adds a powerful layer of positivity to this transit. Jupiter's expansive and benevolent influence tempers Mercury's restlessness and sharpens its intelligence, leading to constructive thought patterns and wise decisions, particularly related to domestic matters and real estate. Jupiter and Mercury together form a powerful yoga, here within the House of Foundations, which allows you to learn valuable lessons about emotional security, family dynamics, and how to create lasting happiness. This could be an especially favorable period for buying or selling property, investing in real estate, or making home improvements. Whether it's renovating an old space, investing in home decor, or simply decluttering and reorganizing your surroundings, you're likely to derive immense satisfaction from improving your living space. For some, there may be a decision to shift to a new home, or even settle abroad, particularly if the 7th house's themes of partnership or relocation are active in your chart. As Mercury also rules the 7th house of spouse, partnerships, and marriage, its presence in the 4th house can indicate joint decisions between you and your spouse regarding property, relocation, or even starting a home-based business. Spousal support increases during this period, emotionally, financially, and intellectually. The understanding and harmony between your partner and your family, especially your mother, will be pleasant and encouraging. If you're unmarried, there may be talks about marriage within the family, or even formalizing a relationship through arranged settings, since the 4th house symbolizes your home and the 7th house symbolizes your partner, and now both are conjoined through Mercury. This is also an ideal period to begin or expand a family business. The blending of 4th house domestic energies with the business-oriented nature of the 7th house means that ventures started from home, especially those involving real estate, interior design, education, or consulting, can thrive. With Jupiter's influence, investments made now could pay off well in the long run, especially if made in collaboration with trusted partners or family members. Professionally, although the focus shifts inward toward personal matters, your workplace still demands attention. Since both Mercury and Jupiter are aspecting your 10th house, career, quick decision-making may be required at your job, especially involving property deals, asset management, or negotiations. There's a fine line between managing domestic responsibilities and work commitments, and if you're not careful, domestic comfort might lead to professional complacency. Prioritize time management and maintain a balance to avoid losing credibility at work. Mid-month, the Sun will also enter Gemini, joining Mercury and Jupiter. The Sun's arrival intensifies the energy in the 4th house, brightening, but also heating the domestic space. The Sun, representing ego and authority, could temporarily bring friction with parents or family elders, or even make you overly assertive in home matters. Mercury's diplomacy will help keep things smooth, but ego conflicts must be handled with care. While Jupiter will soften any harshness the Sun brings, it's still advisable to avoid power struggles at home and in business partnerships. From a psychological perspective, this transit is deeply nurturing. The 4th house also symbolizes your inner core, your emotional foundations, and how you process feelings of security and happiness. With such strong planetary support, you will likely feel more emotionally stable, grounded, and reflective. Meditation, journaling, or spiritual reading can help you explore your inner world. Mercury-Jupiter together suggest a good time to reframe negative thought patterns and replace them with more supportive beliefs, especially around family, love, and self-worth. Mercury's in the 4th house also implies that certain old ideas, habits, or attachments related to family or emotional security may be challenged or even discarded. This is a time for letting go of what no longer serves your inner peace. These shifts may initially feel unsettling, but they are necessary for long-term emotional evolution. You may experience occasional restlessness or anxiety, especially if you're resisting change, but these are temporary side effects of deeper transformation. Finances during this period may feel pressured, particularly due to the urge to spend on home comforts, new vehicles, or luxury items. While many of these expenses could be justified, especially investments in assets, it is essential to track spending carefully. Avoid impulsive purchases, and try to distinguish between what is emotionally satisfying and what is practically necessary. There may also be home-related travel or relocation that adds to the expenses, so keep reserves handy. This transit is also quite auspicious for those involved in teaching, counseling, or real estate professions. If you work from home or use digital platforms to reach clients, your productivity and visibility could increase. You may also receive unexpected help or wisdom from your spouse or mentors that shifts your approach to both home life and career. The supportive environment will foster creativity and problem-solving abilities. Overall, Mercury's transit through Gemini, its own sign, in your 4th house, supported by Jupiter and eventually the Sun, forms multiple auspicious yogas that strengthen your personal and emotional foundations. It brings peace, clarity, and happiness in domestic life, supports partnerships, enhances communication, and offers the potential for new ventures in home, business, and emotional well-being. Just remember to stay balanced. Nurture the home while being mindful of professional responsibilities. Enjoy the comforts but avoid overindulgence. And open your heart without letting ego rule the space. As we conclude this episode, please remember that these insights are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference from the tropical zodiac. Individual predictions may vary, as every birth chart is unique. The influence of dasha periods and natal planetary placements can shape transits differently, both positively and negatively. It's essential to consider your own birth chart when applying these general predictions to your personal circumstances. If you'd like personalized predictions or have questions about your astrological chart, feel free to reach out to us. Stay tuned for more astrological updates. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful astrology content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to sharing more astrological wisdom with you in the future. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shining bright.